I went in for what we thought was going to be a simple Mohs procedure to have some basal cell carcinoma removed from my temple. And the normal amount of times that they have to go in is 2 to 3. For me, it took 7 times. And so what was left was a hole on the side of my head about the size of a silver dollar and about as thick. And when speaking with that surgeon, there was a decision that needed to be made about whether she should try and close it or not. And I'm very grateful that she admitted her limitations and sent me to Dr. Schrader. But I literally ended up on her doorstep, Dr. Schrader's, without her expecting me. So they were fabulous and had me come in, and she assessed the wound, and there was a lag time. So I had to deal with this open wound for about 4 or 5 days before she could actually do the repair. So I was looking at this hole in my head for 4 or 5 days, having to change the dressing. And then I came in for my surgery, and we thought we were going to do a simple skin graft. And Dr. Schrader said, no, you're too young for that, and it won't look right. So I want to do what she called a flap procedure, but in my opinion, it was more almost like a partial facelift. She did an incision from the top of my head to below my ear, and then from the side of my eye back, and then pulled everything together. And it seemed to take me longer to heal than the average person. But through it all, Dr. Schrader was amazing. I mean, my husband and I are so grateful to her. And and then a month later, I had to have some more basal cell removed from my nose. Naturally, I was quite worried because how invasive this surgery was. But this time they only had to go in once to get all the cancer. And this was a more simple procedure. It was just a straightforward flap wear, and Dr. Schrader was wonderful. This time, because it wasn't an emergency and we could plan it, she showed me pictures in the book and explained the procedure and what it was going to look like. And so it was less traumatic and besides that, I was just so grateful because both of us were concerned how much of my nose was going to be left for her to work with if it was as bad as this one. And it was much more straightforward. So, but in the time I've spent with her, I came to find out it's not very often that she does 2 surgeries like that on one face. So I guess I was lucky in a way. I don't know. So the recovery from the temple surgery was actually quite a surprise. I had no idea the invasiveness of the surgery and that it was going to take, I was off work for 3 weeks. And the thing that was the most helpful for me, although at the beginning it was very, very hard, I took photos. My brother had recommended it. He had had some cancer removed, and I thought he was crazy, to be honest with you. But as the time progressed, and I took longer to heal than what Dr. Schrader expected. We found out that I bruise a lot, I swell a lot, and it doesn't go away very quickly. When I would leave the office at times, it would be depressing because she wanted me to be further along. But I would look at these pictures and I would see that I had progressed. In comparison to some of her other patients, maybe not as quickly, but for me, I had. So that was very positive. And then the nose was totally different because, as I had said, she showed me pictures. I knew what to expect with that. Although you don't always expect to see your face swell up and bruise up and all of that. So as hard as it would be for someone to take the photos, they're very helpful. And that helped me with the healing process and just knowing that I was getting better. The other thing would be to ask questions. I wasn't able to do that because it was an emergency. You know, it was not something that we expected, and then she changed her mind on what procedure she was going to do. To ask questions, I think, and to take the pictures, for me, those two things were invaluable in my healing process. I have never had surgery, let alone plastic surgery. After seeing the hole in my face, to be perfectly honest, I didn't think anyone could make me look right again, and she did. So I think the world of her, and I recommend her to anyone that I can.